for your marriage. Now we are going to be talking about a different type of planning. We're going to be talking about planning for your investments and planning for your retirement and ultimately the point in time when assets transfer to your beneficiaries and your heirs. Joining us is Alan Trim, and he is a vice president with Blue Summit Wealth Management. His website is bluesummitwealth.com, bluesummitwealth.com. And Adam Sherry, he is an estate and trust attorney with the law offices of Nancy Spector. His website is Nancy Spector, S-P-E-C-T-O-R, nancyspector.net. We're going to start with you, Alan. We're going to talk a little bit about what you do. You're a certified financial planner as well as a CPA. So tell us what does a certified financial planner do to help people with their investments and their finances?
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully everyone is writing down their financial goals and making a plan for that, right?
Daily, right?
Okay,
Yeah,
good, good. So once you get to about $200,000 in investable assets, we think it's probably good to start hiring a professional to help you with that. That sounds like a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but if you're working at a private company or a corporation and you're saving every year, that money's going to add up. Also, we work with small business owners that want to set up a retirement plan for themselves or their employees. They see they're hiring these employees, it brings them a lot of joy. That's in the present. They want to help these people in the future. These are all cases where you might want to go talk to a CFP like ourselves. The main thing we do is help people understand what their financial goals are and then make a plan to get to those goals 10, 20, 30 years out.
When you say financial goals, what do you mean by that? Is it I want to have saved X number of dollars by this point, or I want to what should our goals that we're writing down every day look like?
Absolutely, and that's great because sometimes we get into the weeds of dollars and I need X by X. What you really want to say is I'd like to retire when I'm 60 years old, and I'd like to take 2 vacations a year, one of those being outside of the country. I'd like to spend enough or save enough to spend 50% of each of my kids' college tuition. I'd like to leave X to all of my grandkids. Those are the types of goals that I'm talking about. We translate that into what do you need to save, by when, and what do you have now, so therefore what do you need to add to that pot every year.
Good.
We're talking with Alan Trim, who's a vice president at Blue Summit Wealth Management. Their website is bluesummitwealth.com, bluesummitwealth.com. So kind of the process works that we bring to you our written goals, or maybe not.
We can tease those out together.
Maybe not written, or maybe not, we haven't even thought about it.
Exactly.
But yeah, we sit with you and we say, what should our goals be, or what's important to me?
Yeah.
And where do I want to be in a few years, and what kind of work do I do, and how am I able to earn money? So how do you translate that into a financial plan? Like, what does a financial plan look like?
Great question. So understanding your goals is the first part, and then deciding, okay, how detailed of a financial plan do you need? If you have a very modest lifestyle and plenty of money, then you don't really need a detailed financial plan. Other people might be cutting it closer, and we can run Monte Carlo simulations, thousands of simulations, depending on what is the market going to do, what is inflation going to do, and tell you, okay, you need to save $350 a month for the next 15 years. Anywhere on that spectrum, that can be what a plan looks like. Then we help implement that plan.
How do you help implement the plan?
Great question, because a lot of people think what financial advisors do is just take the money and invest it in stocks and bonds and mutual funds. I consider that a tool to help us finish the plan and implement it. So the how is the investment. And what's unique about Blue Summit is we actually do all of that portfolio management in-house. So I started with Blue Summit about 9 years ago, and over the last 6 years we've developed in-house models so that we can take those assets and decide what we want the clients to be invested in. And each situation for each client is unique, and we're able to understand them very personally and then implement those investments.
So does it involve more than just stock and bonds and investment accounts? Do you have more products that are different than that?
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit more about the stocks and bonds we do, because Blue Summit's a little unique there. All of our investments are socially responsible investments. And it's great that that's becoming very popular these days, big banks are starting to do that, and that's great for the world and great for our society. It aligns with our values. But we've been doing that for over 2 decades, Blue Summit has. So that's really kind of key to understanding what we do for our clients. The other thing that we do is work with outside experts like yourself, with CPAs, real estate agents like Ryan, and estate attorneys like Adam. So when people come to us with questions, they don't say, excuse me, I need a trust so that my grandkids will receive X amount of dollars. They say, you know, I'd like to make sure my grandkids are safe and they're receiving these assets, and they might not be a beneficiary on an IRA. That cues us to talk to experts like Adam. If they have tax questions, we talk to experts like yourself, CPAs, and also when people come to us and say, you know, I want to move into a retirement home, I've had this home, it's 3 stories and I don't like walking up the steps, well then we might talk to someone like Ryan and kind of quarterback that situation.
We're talking with Alan Trim. He is the Vice President of Blue Summit Wealth Management. Their website is bluesummitwealth.com, bluesummitwealth.com. So you've met with your clients, you've kind of developed a financial plan. It's important to stay in touch with your financial planner as life changes, right? Because a lot of things do change, and there's things that you need to adjust for over the years. Tell us about some of the changes that might happen.
Great question. So we are in constant communication with our clients, and they have access to their accounts online. That's kind of the daily norm. Now, if they're going to get married or have children or start talking about changing their beneficiaries for inheritance, they should be in communication with us. Also, every year we have a very thorough annual review with each client that goes through, what are your goals looking like? Have things changed? Are you making more money? Or do you want to start talking about retirement? We do that constantly with our clients.
If I invest with Blue Summit, do I have to manage my own, look at the statement every month and ask a bunch of questions, or do I get to give it to you and kind of not worry about that?
So there's actually an inverse correlation with how many times a client looks at their statement and performance. And this is usually outside of working with a CFP when someone's doing it themselves. We do manage the whole process. We encourage people to look as often as they feel comfortable to, but we don't expect them to look at it every day, maybe twice a year. But really that's kind of our day job, is to look at those accounts and their progress every day.
We're talking with Alan Trim. He is the Vice President of Blue Summit Wealth Management, and their website is bluesummitwealth.com, bluesummitwealth.com. One more thing, Alan, you said that you do ESG investing.
Right.
What is that?
So there's 2 ways of calling it. Socially responsible investing is kind of the past. Currently, ESG, environmental, social, and governance investing is becoming more mainstream. What that does is 2 things. It screens out negatively companies like tobacco companies, gun companies, perhaps fossil fuel companies, if you don't want to be investing in those. So when you invest your 401k, it often goes into a big pot of money that goes into mutual funds that invest in these things. So a perfect example is the Florida State pension, their example, or their equivalent of CalSTRS, was invested in the gun company that was responsible for the school shooting last February.
Oh.
40,000 shares, and no one knew, right? Because it just goes into this pot of money. So our investments exclude that. What they also do is proactively push proxy voting. So when you're a shareholder of a company, you get to vote on who's in charge of the board. Big decisions for the company. And so they will vote on behalf of our clients, these mutual funds, to push things that we want to push. So for example, if a company is trying to develop a mine in Alaska that might pollute the waters, or we want to have more female representation on a board of directors, they will push these agenda items. So it's a negative screen as well as that positive.
Interesting. We're talking with Alan Trim. He is the Vice President. He's with Blue Summit Wealth Management. Their website is bluesummitwealth.com, bluesummitwealth.com. Thank you for that.